We've got several rounds of severe storms over the next several days with some big time hail producers and some heavy rainmakers. Then a significant cold blast for April standards will be moving in, and we'll touch base heading into next week because it does appear the southern jet stream gets a lot more active. So let's start off with the overall satellite picture and the water vapor as we go into this afternoon. You can actually see the atmosphere is starting to moisten up big time down here in the central and northern plains. They're waiting on this powerful jet stream and cold front that's going to be moving across. And all we need is some sort of trigger to trigger that type of atmosphere. And I think we're going to be able to get that as we head into the heat of the afternoon, especially into tonight, because there's a lot of moisture content that's going to be feeding in from the Gulf of Mexico. If we take a look at the overall precipitable water index here, you can see these feeder bands and these moisture content levels really start to feed in. The significant dry line starts to move in out here in West Texas, and I think we get some sort of initiation and activation probably into the later evening time frame, especially into the overnight, along in these areas in the southern plains and in the central plains. In fact, the Storm Prediction Center has actually upgraded this risk to an enhanced risk for severe storms, really for all three modes. But the main risk is going to be some of those big time hail producers of this low pressure center that's going to be activated across portions of Kansas, and then the warm front. And along that sector, some of these could be some golf ball to ping pong, even some isolated reports of tennis ball size hail, likely not out of the question, and around the Omaha area, back into Lincoln, into the Hastings area, into Hutchinson, all the way further south into Wichita. There's even a threat further south into the Oklahoma area. It's probably going to be more likely into the 9, say 10 o'clock time frame for the Oklahoma City area. Now, it does extend even in further south into portions of Texas. This is likely into the Childress area, but further south, we are going to be more of a conditional risk, and a strong capping inversion should limit any activity that would be west of, say, the Weatherford area down here in West Texas. But I'm definitely concerned about the storms, especially into the Oklahoma City area, and especially heading into central Kansas, and definitely especially up here into portions of Nebraska, heading into Iowa later on this evening into the overnight time frame. And they do pose a tornado risk. Like I mentioned, the main risk is going to be your large hail producers, but some of these could have some isolated spin up tornadoes. So definitely be on high alert, within that time frame of some isolated, spin up tornadoes with a tornado or two. Likely weather watches will be issued by then. So if you are new to the channel and like detailed weather breakdowns, hit the subscribe button and you're in. You get all my daily content on this channel. It's also important to hit the like button as well. It definitely helps out more than you know. And if you're in the market for a weather station, I definitely highly recommend the Tempest Weatherflow weather station. I know a lot of people has taken advantage of this on this channel. If you want to do so yourself, it's all solar. It takes about 10 minutes to install. That's the cool thing about it is, and once you set it up, it's kind of a set it and forget it. I mean, I've had mine 3 years. I've never even touched the thing. It just automatically updates. And that's the coolest part about it. It has this convenient app on your phone and a desktop version as well. And you can be part of the 45,000 now that have a Tempest across the country. So I do have a discount code that offers 10% and free shipping at checkout. So if you'd like to take advantage of that, I'll have the link in the description below so you can easily click on it and possibly order one for yourself. So let's take a look at the overall rainfall for the next 24 hours. And like I mentioned, there's not much activity happening further south into Texas with the high resolution models, because it does appear that there's going to be that strong capping inversion should limit any activity out here into far west Texas here. But the atmosphere should start to turn over, especially later on this evening in and around the Oklahoma City area. So you definitely have to be on some high alert for those big time hail producers. And that just extends into the Kansas area. That's why they do have that, hatched risk in place for that larger hail potential, especially as you head into Nebraska, and definitely especially as you head into Iowa. Be on high alert for those significant storms later on today. But heading into tomorrow, that storm system will continue to shift a little bit further east, and you're still tapping into that warm sector further south. So that puts all the severe storms a little bit further south now, you can see the dew points. I mean, the dew points are rapidly rising in this region down here in the 65, almost 68 degree range. That's plenty moisture as the dry line will be getting active likely sooner in this what you're going to happen today. This is probably going to be about a 3 o'clock in the afternoon type setup where we start to see initial storms as that cold front and dry line will be able to overturn and the winds start to converge, and the atmosphere definitely turns over. And when it does turn over, they will quickly turn severe as the capping inversion starts to erode. So this is about a 3 o'clock time frame. This is likely when I'm going to be going live, since this is more of a daytime threat. So definitely stay tuned for that, for live coverage about 3 o'clock tomorrow on this particular setup. But we should start to see that storm initiation 3 o'clock tomorrow on Thursday in and around the Paducah area, down into Springfield, portions of Little Rock, essentially just north of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And that will shift southeast. And as it does, some of these could be some isolated discrete supercells, could also be some big time hail producers, more likely just southeast of the DFW Metroplex into portions of the Waco area. And yes, southeast of DFW into this region right here, they could see the largest hail producers from this activity. Here's the radar. Like I mentioned, about 3 o'clock. So that's when I think the atmosphere will start to kind of overturn itself. And that's the initiation. So this is right in the heat of the day, guys. I think you actually even maybe hit close to 90 degrees in the DFW area. And then the atmosphere starts to turn over. So this is the setup by 3. Things get really active across this boundary and then slowly start to shift southeast. Now, this cold front's not going to be moving as fast on Thursday. So as it does, it's going to be including some very heavy rain producers, if not some flooding rains. But you can see the radar. This is about 7, 8 o'clock into the evening time frame, as that slow moving system will be dumping some very heavy rain. But you can see the isolated discrete nature of these type setups could actually see those big time hail producers. That's why they have that hatched risk in place down here into that region. And then also some heavy rain makers as well as the system starts to slow. So we do have a slight risk for excessive rainfall. It does include Dallas, but it mainly includes the Waco area, down in East Texas, Northeast Texas, into the Tyler area, the Texarkana area, back into the Little Rock area. These areas could easily pick up maybe 2, maybe even 4 inches of rain in some isolated areas from this slow moving system that's going to happen into the evening time frame. If we take a look at the latest some of the high resolution guidance and maybe some rainfall totals out of this system, again, yeah, further south, there's the bullseye. Could be around the Waco area, down here and just far southeast of the DFW Metroplex. And some of these models are spitting out 7 to 8 inches in some of these isolated areas. So definitely concerned about rapid flash flooding down in this region as the system, as that cold front starts to kind of slow, and it may even stall for a short period of time before we have a secondary push of colder air. And with that colder air, that will arrive on Friday and clear the atmosphere out into the evening time frame, but especially by Friday morning will be done in Dallas. But now that shifts further south into the Houston Metroplex, down here into the Victoria area, even further south into Corpus, even into Brownsville, could have at least some marginal induced thunderstorms heading into your day on Friday, because you'll be in that warm sector then ahead of the pretty significant cold front. And that will shift off into Louisiana. Will definitely include in portions of the Jackson area. Those storms could be on the higher end variety of some of those larger hail producers and heavy rain producers as well. So the axis shifts further east. So now areas that are in the slight risk include the New Orleans area back into Jackson. Does include the Memphis, Tennessee area. Again, these areas could pick up possibly 1 to 3, even some isolated 4-inch totals. A little bit lighter amounts as you extend it into the Houston area, but that pushes further north into encompasses maybe Nashville, and even a little bit further north than that could pick up 1/2 inch to 1 inch of rainfall from this particular system But yes, even some snow. That's the last thing you want to see up there in Minnesota, up there in portions of Wisconsin again. You're going to get more snow. I'm sorry, but it definitely appears that you're going to be cold enough. Got a pretty good cold blast coming in. You're going to be adding to those totals, if not some nearing record there in Minneapolis. But there's the squall line as we head into your Friday afternoon. The main setup will be further south, but then lighter amounts as you extend into Indiana, Ohio, and that will extend into portions of Michigan, heading up into Canada as this continues to move off to the east. There's your rain shield heading into the day on Saturday, with the rain shifting, Friday afternoon, Friday evening, overnight, Saturday morning will be pretty much done by Saturday morning in and around a good part of Texas. But now that rain shield will be over Louisiana, back into Mississippi, into western Tennessee, and heading up, points northbound. But then the cold blast, right? So we got a pretty significant cold front coming in for April standards for this weekend. So this is the actual temperatures as you wake up on Saturday morning time frame, and all that blue in the map, that's below freezing, guys. So yeah, the freeze line will extend as far south as Nebraska, even into portions of Kansas could get in the action of some freezing temperatures, and of course modifying as you push further south, but still 40s as far south as Arkansas, even in the North Texas could be in the 40s by the time you wake up on your Saturday morning. And then there's the setup on the surface map on Saturday heading into Saturday night that will continue to push off further off to the east. Now it'll be along the Carolinas, in and around the Ohio area, getting into the Pennsylvania region. And then of course on the backside of this upper level low, within the cold air, will ring out some snowflakes again into portions of Wisconsin, and could be even back into portions of northern Illinois again. They could be waking up with kind of a wet snow in that region, very light amounts, but still has that possibility. And they've seen this actually multiple times with these low pressures just over the last couple of weeks. And then there's Sunday. So Sunday, there's the storm system will continue to move out. And that'll be more or less encompassing over portions of Vermont and New Hampshire, portions of Massachusetts and the Connecticut area. And then we'll have another disturbance further south as moisture levels will start to merge. We've been talking about this kind of changing over the atmosphere from that La Nina to the neutral to El Nino type setup. And so we're going to be seeing more and more of these as we get deeper into April, especially into May. Up further south, because we're going to have that southern jet stream get a little bit more active, and that does appear to be the case with another little small disturbance. And it's not going to take much overturning this atmosphere, because the Gulf of Mexico is on fire, and it's going to be plenty of moisture to tap into. So it looks like more of a southern Texas regions, but some heavier rain producers possibly going back into that region on the day on your Sunday, and then lighter amounts as you fishtail further north into, say, North Texas. But there's the setup on the jet stream heading into Sunday. So we're going to be seeing these kind of multiple waves of disturbances that will be coming in from off the Pacific here, that will be trailing further south as the jet stream gets a little bit more active of that subtropical jet as we go into next week. And then we'll have multiple disturbances kind of be trailing within this boundary here. So we'll have one on Sunday, and then we'll have some leftover rain. So we could even be seeing some like daily rain chances that come in the picture. And they talk about April showers. It's been fairly dry down here, but it's the April showers has been activated next week, and then we'll be seeing these multiple disturbances trailing along this boundary. And then we'll just have another one trailing behind that one. So we could be looking at multiple setups. So much further south looks to be possibly some heavy rain setups. Now with the chilly air in place, probably we're going to be taking a week off on the severe storms. I don't look any pressing systems heading in the next week, but I do feel like we'll have daily rain showers across this boundary, and then more activity as we head into maybe the 26th to the 29th time frame, with pockets of more heavy rain inundating portions of the southeast by then. So guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video. My plan is to do a very early update tomorrow, And then I'll be going live about 3 o'clock on your Thursday to cover the severe storm. So catch me in the next update while I protect you before and after the storm.